All right, it looks like we have successfully landed everywhere we're supposed to be. Welcome to Creative on Purpose Live. This is a special broadcast, a special series of broadcasts called Ease: How to Navigate Turbulent Times with Peace of Mind. My name is Scott Perry. I am Chief Difference Maker at Creative on Purpose, your guide in the Creative on Purpose Substack community of subscribers. And for the next couple of weeks, maybe even months, we're going to be talking about what I anticipate to be some turbulent, even more turbulent times coming up in the very near future. In the first episode of this series, we talked about some of the historical, social, cultural, spiritual reasons for why we can expect 2024 to be a year of higher than usual levels of turbulence, both politically, economically, socially, and so forth. Today, I want to talk about this idea of equanimity. And I've written quite a bit about equanimity over the years. I've been blogging at Creative on Purpose since 2016 or so. And every time I blog about equanimity, people say, hey, stop using such big words. And I think it's unfortunate that we think that equanimity is a big word. I think it's just something that we don't spend enough time learning about and talking about. Historically, it's been something that's been at the heart of ancient philosophical and spiritual traditions, Stoicism in particular, but also Eastern traditions like Hinduism, Taoism, and so forth. And so today, what I want to talk about is what is this idea of equanimity? Why does it matter? Why would it be something worth cultivating in the times that we're in and the even more turbulent times that we're entering? And then uh, after about 20 minutes or so, I'm going to shut down this public broadcast, and members of the Creative on Purpose Substack Catalyst community, which is the community of paid subscribers, we're going to go into an exclusive private Q&A and implementation session to talk about this idea further. If you're interested in exploring any of the things that I'm talking about today and want to investigate the Creative on Purpose Substack community of subscribers, there are links in the description of the YouTube video or in the comments of the LinkedIn or Facebook broadcast, where you can find links that will take you to additional resources, but also to the Creative on Purpose Substack, where you can learn about how you can subscribe for free and get lots of great resources, or a very inexpensive paid subscription that will get you into the Catalyst Club calls. So let's go ahead and just dive in. So, what I want to talk about today in terms of equanimity is to really just break it down and simplify it. In in ancient times, in the Hellenistic world, Greece and Rome, ancient Greece and Rome, uh, equanimity was actually associated with the idea of apathy. But apathy didn't mean then what we interpret it to mean now. In common English usage, apathy means you just don't care, that you don't have any strong feelings about anything, that you're almost kind of numb to anything that's going on in life. In ancient Greece, apatheia actually meant without suffering, pathos, without suffering. And that is actually kind of the true definition, as I see it, of equanimity. It doesn't mean that you are denying emotions or suppressing emotions. The Stoics would say that they were all about cultivating healthy emotions and limiting the impact of negative emotions on their life as they navigated society, politics, economic, and natural occurring things that were happening in the world then, and doing that in a way that provided them with a sense of tranquility, peace of mind, clear-headedness, clear-sightedness, and so forth. So one way that I have spoken about equanimity that has helped a lot of people kind of wrap their head around this topic is this idea of, are you behaving like a thermometer, or are you behaving like a thermostat? So we all know about thermometers. Thermometers measure the temperature of the room by reacting to the temperature of a room. And so if we think about um, reacting and being impacted and influenced by the temperature of our surroundings. That is an example of being carried away by our emotional attachments, our expectations, and whatever other attachments we have. And it's not a very healthy way to be if you want to maintain your peace of mind, your equanimity, and your ability to navigate challenging situations with a greater degree of peace of mind and rationality, being able to reasonably discern what's going on, see your choices, choose and take the action necessary to improve your situation moment to moment. Instead of being a thermometer in all the situations that you're navigating in life, equanimity is this idea of being the thermostat. The thermostat actually controls the temperature of the room. And so instead of reacting like a thermometer, you can respond like a thermostat. You can regulate the impact that situations and your interpretation of them has on your equanimity, on your peace of mind, on your sense of purpose, and your ability to navigate things rationally in a way that is beneficial not only to yourself, but the people that you find yourself with. So, that's kind of the way that I think about equanimity. It's a way of detaching yourself and stopping being the thermometer and just reacting to everything that's going on in life, and instead regulate it, become the thermometer, and set the temperature yourself for how you want to navigate life's inevitable ups and downs. Along with this idea of being the thermostat or the thermometer, there's some other things that we can do. And again, a lot of this comes from ancient spiritual and philosophical tradition like Stoicism, um, ideas from the Bhagavad Gita and the Tao Te Ching. It's this idea of balancing our sense of personal significance and cosmic insignificance. So, human beings tend to um, be very concerned about themselves. And we have these needs, wants, dreams, and desires that we're pursuing. We're programmed to oftentimes pursue more and to avoid struggle and pain and strife. And um, because we think that, we are the most important thing that is going on in any given moment. And so while it's natural to have this sense of personal significance, and one of the things that we do at Creative on Purpose is talk about living your legacy, be the kind of person and do the kind of things in your life while it's yours to have that will leave a legacy worth remembering, a way that people will remember you as being helpful and useful while you had the opportunity to be so. But at the same time, sometimes if we are overly invested in our personal significance, if we are starting to careen into victim mode when things beyond our control are having an impact on our sense of well-being, a good trick is to start to move to the other end of the spectrum around and start to remember our cosmic indifference. In the grand scheme of things, we are just little specks on a little speck swirling around in a very non consequential galaxy at the edge of a very large solar system that is part of a much larger universe. And, in the grand scheme of things, none of it really matters. And so we can do that kind of zooming out so that when we are overinvested in our personal significance, when we are falling into victim mode, where we are finding ourselves being taken away by the storm, we can zoom out, think about our cosmic insignificance, and it's a way of regaining equanimity. And we can then have a healthier relationship with how we want to react in a given moment, regardless of how challenging it is or how rewarding it might be. Another really practical, pragmatic tip around equanimity is something I wrote about in my book Onward. And in that book, I basically rewrote and came up with this process that is essentially just a repurposing of what are called the three Stoic disciplines. These are three ideas that come from Stoic philosophy that initially were put forth by the great Stoic teacher Epictetus, that Marcus Aurelius refers to in his journal many, many times, restates the three disciplines. But the way that the Stoics applied the three disciplines to maintain their equanimity and make reasonable choices and take rational action that had beneficial consequences for themselves and the people that they find themselves with is to think about these three disciplines: perception, action, and will. Perception. How do I see myself and my situations? What are the narratives? What are the stories that I'm telling myself about who I am and what's going on and about the people that I find around me? Because oftentimes we are, and what I teach in Onward is, those narratives can be full of adjectives and adverbs, which lead to value judgments and these unhelpful opinions about things that we should probably be a little bit more indifferent to. And if we frame our perception, the way that we see ourselves, our situation, and each other, without all those adjectives and adverbs, without all the value judgments, and we are more better positioned to plainly see what is actually going on. We can take stock of the reality of our situation without all that personal investment and attachment. And that will enable us to see all the possible ways forward. And then we can move into the second discipline of Stoic philosophy, which is action. What am I going to decide and do next? And the Stoics would argue that since all that is required to live a good life is to be in pursuit of becoming a better person, to cultivate your virtue, the quality of your character, they would say that you should make decisions and take actions that align with your values, your guiding principles, uh, taking into consideration what is best for the people that you find yourself with. And then you can move into the third Stoic discipline of will, which does not mean so much. It's not necessarily willpower. Like, can I just grind my way or persevere my way through something? Will is more about willing acceptance of whatever happens. The Stoics would say, and Epictetus opens up his handbook with this idea that um, there are only two things within a person's control: how they see things, themselves, their situation, and other people, and what they decide and do next. So those first two Stoic disciplines are tied to what is called sometimes the Stoic fork. This idea that we control our perception, we can control our perception, we can control what we decide to do next. Perception and action are things that we can rein in and control. And then this idea of will is regardless of what happens, because everything else is beyond our control, and we cannot control what other people think or do. We cannot control what happens politically, socially, economically, that we should learn to accept whatever happens and understand that our own conduct is its own reward. If we navigate our way through life's inevitable challenges with intention and integrity, that we are living a life and engaged in a process that is its own reward. In the Bhagavad Gita, they say, Krishna says to Arjuna, you are entitled to your labor, but not the fruits of your labor. You're entitled to your duty, whatever it is, your sacred path, your sacred duty, the work that you do, the difference that you make. But you are not entitled to any rewards or preconceived outcomes that come through that work. That the journey itself and the quality of that journey is its own reward. So that's the idea of the three Stoic disciplines. And also, I love weaving in that idea from the Bhagavad Gita about the difference between, labor and fruits. You're entitled to your labor. Find your path, pursue your path, do work that matters, do work that aligns with who you are, what you're good at, and where you belong, and accept that engagement in that process is its own reward. The process is the shortcut, and the process is the reward. You are not entitled to any of the results that you may or may not desire or be pursuing. Um, and if you can stop clinging to those expectations, you will have a life that the Stoics would say flows smoothly in accordance with nature. And so then the last idea that I want to bring in, also tied to all the ancient spiritual traditions and philosophical traditions that I draw inspiration from, Stoicism, Taoism, the Bhagavad Gita, is this idea of sufficiency, this idea of being enough, of having enough, of enoughness. Now, in the in ancient spiritual and philosophical traditions, one of the things that they would constantly remind you is that you should be grateful for the bounty that you already possess. If you are watching this broadcast, you possess a device that allows you to access the wisdom of the entire world through the internet, through a connection to the World Wide Web, and you are experiencing and the beneficiary of a humongous bounty, a humongous abundance of riches, and being grateful for the richness that you already possess. The fact that you are, if you are watching this, I'm guessing that you have shelter, that you have nourishment, that you have access to hydration, that you have access to the basic needs and necessities that make for a decent quality of life, and that is enough. That is sufficient. That is all you need to actually live well. And what the Stoics would say is that this constant pursuit of more, what we call in the United States, the pursuit of happiness, which is actually just the pursuit of status and stuff, fame and fortune, um, is is a recipe for suffering, because you're pursuing things beyond your control. You're pursuing things that you are not necessarily entitled to. Again, you are entitled to your labor, but not the fruits of your labor. And that if we embrace our inherent sufficiency, the fact that we have enough, that we are enough, that you were born with all you need to possess in order to live a life of meaning and purpose and fulfillment. Then, if you begin in that place of gratitude, in that place of sufficiency, it's much easier to navigate turbulent times with that equanimity that we opened up the conversation with this idea that I can experience greater peace of mind as I pursue it are in pursuit of things worth pursuing that align with who I really am, my values and guiding principles, what I'm really good at, my talents and skills, the difference only I can make, and where I belong, which is with people who share your values and need your talents to enhance their lives, or whose talents will enhance your life. And if you simply embrace those very, very simple ideas, that you will live that life that is smoothly flowing, a life of greater equanimity, feelings of prosperity. It will cultivate a greater sense of purpose, and you will experience a greater sense of peace of mind, no matter what life throws at you at any given moment. So that's my little riff rant about equanimity. I hope that that is helpful. Again, if you want to look back to the previous episode, easiest place to find that is at the Creative on Purpose YouTube channel. You can find it in the Creative on Purpose broadcast playlist. All these broadcasts will be part of that playlist. You can also go to the Creative on Purpose Substack and go to the podcast there. I'll be repurposing the audio and including links to the video there. In the comments or in the description of this event, you can find additional resources that will direct you to the Substack, where you can find the podcast and other resources. And right now, I'm going to power down this broadcast, this public broadcast, and we're going to go into a closed session with the Catalyst Club community of paid Creative on Purpose Substack subscribers, and we're going to have a little jam session about the things that we talked about today. If these ideas are interesting to you, if you would like to associate yourself, learn from, and share wisdom with a group of purpose-driven individuals that are trying to make a better living by making a bigger difference and improving themselves along the way, we would love to have you come check out the Catalyst Club community. You can start with a 7-day free trial, no obligation. Come to the calls, check out all the exclusive content, see if it's for you. And if it is, great, stick around. There's some pretty exciting things coming up that I'm not ready to announce just quite yet, but there's some pretty exciting offers coming up that I am really excited to be sharing with the Catalyst Club members first, and then if there's room for additional people, we'll share that with the rest of the subscribers. But best way to stay up to date, in touch, and benefit from really powerful resources and content is go to the Creative on Purpose Substack. It's ascottperry.substack.com, and go ahead and subscribe for free, paid, whatever works for you. And I hope this was helpful. Hope it was useful. And I'll look forward to seeing the Catalyst Club members in just a minute. And until next time, be well, do good, have fun. Thanks a lot for watching.